So the Poseidon story actually starts in Little Rock, Arkansas, a long way from an ocean. Basically, how I got into business, and I keep telling my wife that this is how my daughter is going to get into business, is learning it at the most basic level you can imagine. And for me, that was going to a place in Arkansas called Cave City that is famous for growing the world's sweetest watermelons. And if anybody wants to challenge me on that, you're wrong, because they are. And you can't go to heaven until you had one. So if you ever visit Arkansas, stop by Cave City in the summer months and grab you a watermelon. You won't regret it. So basically what happened is I had an old friend, his dad told me that he went to Cave City, bought watermelons for a nickel, would bring them back to Little Rock, Arkansas and sell them for a dime. And I was like, that's double your money, sounds pretty good. So at 14, 15, I can't remember, I loaded up my truck and all the money I had, and I can't tell you how nervous I was to spend all my money on fruit. In case you don't know, fruit goes bad. So that's kind of nerve-wracking. And I spent $500 on fruit, loaded up my truck, drove the 2.5 hours back to Little Rock, set up on the side of the road with a picnic table that we painted Cave City watermelons on, and we sold out in like 6 hours. We bought the watermelons for $5, had 100 of them, sold them for 10, and we made $500 in a day. I don't know about you, but if you are 14 and you made 500 bucks in a day, you are pumped. You think you are on top of the world. And so we kept doing it, and we grew bigger, and we got trailers and we got trucks, and I would hire my football buddies who would take their trucks up there and sell on the weekends, and we did relatively well. And that was how I learned business on a very, very basic scale. And I think that those lessons of hard work and truly getting out there and picking watermelons in a watermelon field and throwing them around and loading the truck and moving trucks and whatever have stuck with me for, my entire life. So I'm very, very grateful for those lessons that I learned in those high school years. After that point, moved to Florida. And when I moved to Florida, I worked for Iron Man for just a little bit, not like the superhero, but the triathlon company, and super awesome place, and ultimately got a job offer from Coca-Cola and went to work for them in sales and marketing, and absolutely love it. Coca-Cola, being one of the biggest brands in the entire world, is phenomenal when it comes to the sales and marketing side of what they do. And I learned so much there, and applied all of the business knowledge from previous years and watermelons and what I learned at Coca-Cola and Iron Man in order to kind of start Poseidon Charters. I met a friend at Coke, and we started it together, and basically we searched for months and months and months to try to find the right boat and what we thought would be a perfect fit for not only luxury but also fishing. And we didn't want to be the normal charter that we're gonna go catch fish and because that's not what it's all about. You want to make sure that you can provide the customer an awesome experience, because fishing is fishing, it's not catching. Now, as much as we are very, very good at it, and we absolutely love to go fishing, but you just can't determine it sometimes, and we needed to be able to provide an experience regardless of what the fish did that would be a really good time and put a smile on your face. And we wanted to have the right boat, and we searched high and low for the right one, finally found the right one, and we drove to somewhere in Georgia and got it, hauled it all the way back, and I can't tell you how nervous I was for that. Oh my gosh, I've never been 10-2 my whole life. Usually it's kind of like a 12 o'clock situation. It was 10-2 that day. We got the boat back, and we started the search to find the best captain, and we found an amazing guy, and we had an amazing boat, and it kind of grew from there. And that particular captain was extremely motivated to grow the business and to get it to the dreams that we had for Poseidon. We want Poseidon to be the one-stop shop that can do everything. Inshore fishing, offshore fishing, you name it. We want to be the place that can happen. But it has to start somewhere, and it started small in order to grow it exponentially to what it is today and where we're headed. We started at the marina that we're actually right next door to, Shell Point Marina. We pulled the boat out of the water every single day. It would go on these like boat slip things, and then we'd have to call them the day before if we had a charter, and they'd have to put it back in the water. And I mean, it was just a nightmare at the beginning. We'd have to go get our own ice. We'd have to make sure the boat was filled with fuel. We'd have to go get our own bait. You know, at the beginning, when you think about how difficult it is to start, the captain shows up at 4 o'clock in the morning and fuels the boat and puts ice on the boat, gets the drinks cold, and then has to run for however long to go catch live bait so that he has a great charter. And then he runs charters from 8 a.m. to noon, and maybe another one from 1 to 5, and then if he's really feeling crazy, 6 to 10. I mean, that is an enormous day. Not only you're at the boat at 4 a.m. and you're finishing at 10 p.m. That means you probably woke up at 3, and then you're not getting home till well after midnight after you clean. I mean, that is crazy talk, and that's how we started. We started just bare bones, working as hard as we possibly could in order to grow it. And it takes that amount of effort and the focus on the details in order to build something great and provide an experience to the customers that you're proud of. We realized pretty quick that it was a great recipe, and hired some more captains, and all of which have been an amazing contributor to the team and growing. And eventually we went from 1 boat to 2 boats, and then and when we went to 2 boats, we actually moved to the marina across the street at Little Harbor, and we were there for quite a while. We really enjoyed it there, and we had an opportunity after we were at Little Harbor for a while that we knew we needed to get to. It was a part of our plan to get a lodge of some sort that we could provide an even better experience for our customers. When we found a place that was available in the perfect conditions, we jumped all over it. We were able to grow the fleet exponentially and also get the captain's livelihood much better, and ultimately the customer experience much better because of the lodge which you see behind me. Having a place where we make our own ice, and we can the captains just fill up a bucket and dump it in and not have to go get that anymore, and have our own fuel tank, and have bait delivered every single morning, and parking for the customers. Like, you think, you know, all these things just happen, and they don't. You know, like, you actually have to think about every single detail and how you want the customer experience to operate to provide the best experience. And having air conditioning, oh my gosh, that is a big deal. It's Florida, it's hot. You need air conditioning. After you've been on the water and you fished and you're tired and your arms are sore because you just reeled in fish all day long, you want to go in and cool off, and while your fish is getting filleted and stuff like that. So all of those little details are important, and we obsess over this stuff. We can't stop thinking about it. When you own your own business, it is not a 9 to 5. It is 24/7, 365. It is all you can think about, and you work when you have to. It's not when you want to, you know? And you probably heard the saying, if you count your pennies, the dollars will take care of themselves. It's the truth, because if you care about the details and you worry about the details of boat maintenance and parking and how you want the experience to go and how the captain should interact with the customers and so on and so forth, well, the big picture of actually catching fish and producing a good time, that's a no-brainer. We want Poseidon to be the go-to. When people think of fishing in general, they think of Poseidon Charters. That's the goal.